I'm Ian Cloud. I'm one of the founding partners here at Robbins Cloud. I've represented people with mesothelioma for almost 25 years. You could pretty much say it's my life's work. I've seen firsthand how devastating the disease can be, not only to the person diagnosed with mesothelioma, but to their family. We want to be able to help in any way we can. Obviously, as lawyers, the first and foremost way we're able to help is to get the people the compensation they deserve for their diagnosis of mesothelioma. Our clients are going through a lot with their diagnosis, so the legal process on top of that, we try to make that process as easy as possible and try to be as least intrusive upon their lives as possible. So one of the things we do is we'll come to their home. As I say, I've been in a lot more of my clients' living rooms than they've ever been to my office. I'm often asked certain questions by people who've recently been diagnosed with mesothelioma. One of the things they ask is it worth pursuing? And the answer to that is universally yes. As I said earlier, we try to be as least intrusive as possible. There is some things that the client's going to have to do, but by and large, most of the work is taken care of by the lawyers behind the scenes. So there's somewhat limited involvement that the person will have involved in their case. Obviously, if they want to be more involved, that's great, but normally you find that the clients are more concerned about taking care of themselves and their family and leave the legal work to us. Another big concern that people have is that they may not be able to remember every place they worked, and they may not be able to remember every product they worked with. The mesothelioma is universally caused by asbestos, and for the most part, these people were exposed to asbestos back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So you're talking decades ago when memories fade. I've personally handled mesothelioma cases for 20 plus years, almost 25 years. So we're able to call upon a lot of resources to be able to essentially recreate someone's work history. We order their Social Security earnings records. Those records are going to show the employer. Many times there's a job site that's different from the employer, but these records help us essentially establish a timeline. We will also order employment records that may help us. We can order military records, such as Navy records. Navy records are great and very detailed. We can also order records from the Navy specific to the various ships they were on. We will talk to coworkers. We've run ads in newspapers. There's many, many things that we do. For example, we have pictures of all the various products that were used back in the years. So for someone who's unable to recall the specific product off the top of their head, the old saying, the picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, if we show them a picture, they may go, oh, now that I see the picture, now I remember that product. So we have lots and lots of resources to be able to call upon to, number one, recreate someone's work history and hopefully help them identify some of the various products they worked with. And again, finding coworkers and many, many other resources that we have at our disposal. Another question I get asked a lot is, aren't all these companies bankrupt? Well, there are a number of asbestos companies that have gone bankrupt over the years. But what happens is, in order for those companies to exit bankruptcy, they have to establish a trust fund. So we go to that trust fund to negotiate a settlement. One of the misconceptions about the asbestos trust funds is that there is essentially one trust fund. I know some of the commercials on TV kind of lead you to believe that there's one trust fund with one large amount. That's not actually right. There are literally dozens of trust funds. Essentially, when each of these companies has filed bankruptcy, once they exit bankruptcy and establish a trust fund, each of them have individual trust funds, so that we go to each of those individual trust funds to negotiate a settlement. Now, not everybody is going to be able to settle with every trust fund, because we have to, just like in the litigation, we have to prove that the person was actually exposed to the product made by that particular company. Again, there are many ways we can do that. We call upon lots of resources that we have to be able to prove that a particular product was maybe used at a job site where that gentleman worked. And so we can negotiate a settlement that way. But again, not everybody is going to be able to settle with all these trust funds. A great example is that some of these particular products are specialty products that may have been used in only refineries and chemical plants. A person that never worked in a refinery or chemical plant, he won't be able to settle with that company because he was never around their product. Or for someone who worked purely in a refinery and chemical plant, he may not be able to get a settlement from a company whose product was not used in refineries and chemical plants. When hiring a law firm to represent you for your mesothelioma case, it's a big decision. You should, number one, make sure that law firm's experienced in handling mesothelioma cases, that they have the resources to handle them, and that they're going to be able to meet your needs. As I said earlier, I've handled mesothelioma cases for almost 25 years. We have the resources to be able to take your case, to work it up, and what I mean by that is to put the proper resources into the case, to hire the proper experts, to prepare the case for trial, in other words. Another important thing we do is we truly try to make the process as easy as possible on our clients. Again, they're going through a very difficult time, and we just want to make the process as smooth as possible for them.